Hello, I'm Dr. Vinod Vijan, 67th year, young, a senior interventional cardiologist, currently now in Pune, in PCMC, Pimple Saudagar, and I've started my second venture called UniQare Hospital and Research Center. UniQare, it is QARE, not to mistake with CARE, which many people write. There's a similar hospital by that name. So we call it, to make it more emphatic, quality about care. So Q about C. So we have started this hospital just recently. Let me tell you, it gives me a great pleasure to be associated with GE, world's leading manufacturer of medical equipments, and get the order for the first latest generation Cath Lab in India, IGE 320, artificial intelligence enabled, or what is known as auto-write. So this is artificial intelligence is for maximum safety as regards radiation, besides amazing clarity, and besides advanced cardiology, which we have already mentioned in the previous YouTube. It incorporates CT scan and 3D vessel wall reconstruction of great vessels. It is a great use in neuro, peripheral interventions, vascular interventions, and onco interventions. Besides coronary angiographies and peripheral interventions and structural heart disease, Cath Labs are now enabled with high definition CT-like imaging, which is present with our Cath Lab. And this is a great asset. It is not just a gadget, but it can be life-saving. For example, with the number of stroke cases rising, and one of the treatment is to do a primary intervention if brought very early in the golden hour, that decides the long-term mortality and morbidity. What we do normally in the current scenario, we send the patient for a CT scan or for a stroke MRI protocol, and if there is a bleed, it's a different ball game. If it is not a bleed, it's an infarct, as it happens in most of the cases, then we have a choice of thrombolysis, or even we take the patient for intervention, and with the stent retriever we can even remove the clot and put a stent. So for this has to occur, to have the maximum benefit, it should come within the first golden hour or as early as possible. But lot of time is wasted. We send the patient, as I said, for either a CT or MRI, and then we bring them to the table and then decide on the procedure. And again, if we, after the end of the procedure, we feel that if there is a hemorrhagic conversion or no, again we send for a CT. All this need not be done with the newer Cath Lab like the one which we have here. You can do a CT-like scanning, do the intervention, at the end of the procedure, again do a CT-like, all on one table in the shortest possible time, and thereby give a lot of service to the patient by saving precious time truly in the golden hour. Here this is the standard. You can see the carotid angioplasty in a patient who had recurrent CVA, and which was done in our lab by our neurointerventionalist, and the patient did very well and went home. This I thought would have been only seen with a 3D reconstruction in a CT, but this is again done in the Cath Lab with a 3D reconstruction of carotid. You can see stenosis, you can see aneurysms, and you can even do a 3D reconstruction. You can see in multiple plane views, and you can get the best clarity, see the maximum point of stenosis. And then there is also a feature called as glass image, because you can see the devices very well. It subtracts, and you can see with amazing clarity the whether it is a coil or it is a stent which is there in the cerebrovascular system. Here again, this is a magnification, and this is, I would have never believed that this was possible in a Cath Lab, but here today we get such CT-like beautiful
pictures with enhancement, and we can even change the planes to see. This is again a neurocoiling with fluoro roadmap. You can see here that the roadmap is on a DSA, it is kept in the background, and then with the background we can go with the wire guided and go along the path. Thereby you can even reduce the contrast and even saves more time. And here you can see that with this fluoro roadmap you also can go again on the fluoroscopy and reduce the radiation, save time. As I mentioned, this is another feature you can see. You can see the aneurysm pre-coiling, and then you can see here the coil which is being introduced, and then afterwards post-coiling you can see that there is no aneurysm seen, which shows a very good result, and the neurointerventionalist is very happy and satisfied. He has done a good job. Often we also see for peripheral interventions, this is a feature called as Innova Chase. Thereby you can have a head-to-toe coverage, and with a single shot you can keep following the contrast and even hold it at a time if the contrast is taking some time, and go straight away up to the wrist and even up to the finger, and we can see the vascularity and same way for the legs also. So this is the Innova Chase, which is a feature. You can see the cerebral DSA, which otherwise could have been seen in a routine normal, but here when you reconstruct this you can see a 3D picture of AV malformation much better, that helps you in your decision making. And another great feature which also surprised me was possible in a Cath Lab is the endovascular view. You can see the large vessels inside, just like we use an OCT or an IVUS, and this is the picture taken in the Cath Lab. You can see the vessel, you can go down right up to the branching, and this is very useful when you want to see whether there is obstruction, blockage, thrombus, there is a dissection, and so on. And this is of course only for the large vessels, not yet for the coronaries, and which will be a very great help to the peripheral interventionalist to even take a decision on what's going on inside the lumen of the vessel. Now, there is this neuroangiovis we had talked of when we had this YouTube on coronary interventions, but even interventional radiology, the neurovis, it will take in a single plane critical information contained in a DSA in a time series, and we can even understand the vascular flow, and you can compare different DSA series with a glance. So in one color image it will automatically synchronize different series for flow comparison. So this is another added feature which will give not only the anatomy, but even to an extent we are beginning to understand the physiology, analyze the complex flow pattern of several anatomical regions, which would be better understood more by the neurointerventionalist. Here, for example, you can see, so this is not just a fancy, but you can see that pre and post procedure, you can see whether if you have opened up a vessel, the vascularity has increased, or if you have occluded an aneurysm, that area vascularity has decreased. So these are again features you can compare lateral, pre and post, and this is another a CT like. It's not a CT of the abdomen, but a CT like scan, which is so remarkable. You can see the whole abdomen, and here by reconstruction you have a 3D image of liver, which I never could have believed is possible in a Cath Lab, which I thought it would be the domain of a CT scan, that also with computer control. And again you can see here the vascularity, you can see plane, you can see a 3D reconstruction, and then you can see the glass view, so that if you are going to have the lesion you can calculate the length, and if you are positioning any stent you can even see it with amazing clarity. Even with hand angio, I have seen on the left hand side we used to see the aneurysm or AV malformation, but here with color coded, probably you can make out the arterial, the capillary and the venous phases and help to understand the flow characteristic better than in a single black and white. There are many more color combinations, but I've just tried to show. So friends, these are one of the few features which we have seen which was never known to us. So today's Cath Lab is a Cath Lab not just for cardiology, but it is there for multi-purpose for the neurologist, the neurointerventionalist, for the peripheral vascular specialist, for putting coils, for putting stents. It is even for endovascular interventions, and it is even there for onco interventions where you can do embolization, and which is again by seeing properly, and with the 3D reconstruction of fine magnification such as aneurysm, the safety also increases. And this Cath Lab, which is very unique and the first AR installation in the country, as told to us by GE, and a multi-speciality fully loaded Cath Lab is open to all qualified interventional specialists, neurointerventionalists, and even peripheral vascular surgeons, along with the cardiologists. They can come, and we are very user friendly, taking the same philosophy of Vision Hospital and extending it to UniQare to be the preferred hospital of choice for the patients around, and it would be the dawn of a new era in cardiac and non-cardiac therapeutics from UniQare, and a win-win situation for the patient, for the attending and referring doctors, and for the hospital. I welcome you all to UniQare. Thank you very much.